Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Welcome to the ultimate masterclass on communication. Today, we're bringing together two brilliant sets of ideas: the academically backed spontaneous speaking frameworks from Stanford's Graduate School of Business, and the highly practical, everyday relationship building techniques from communication expert Hemish Madan. We are going to completely transform how you connect with others, and we're starting right now. So, picture this. Have you ever felt that sheer, heart-dropping panic of being randomly called in a meeting? Or maybe you're thrust into a sudden argument and your mind just straight up short circuits. Well, you're not alone. It's a totally universal fear. In fact, research shows 85% of people admit to being nervous about public speaking. But today, we're going to fix those communication woes from the inside out. We're going to transform that panic into undeniable power. Here is our roadmap for today. 1. Mastering your internal mindset. 2. The power of nonverbals. 3. Frameworks for spontaneous speaking. 4. Building empathy and connection. And 5. Emotional intelligence. We're keeping it highly structured because, fun fact from Stanford, audiences process structured information about 40% more effectively. Let's get to it. Section 1. Mastering your internal mindset. Fixing the foundation. We've got to start with what's going on inside our heads before we even open our mouths. Because, let's be real, you simply can't be an effective speaker if you're paralyzed by nerves. The biggest hurdle we face in life isn't giving some giant rehearsed keynote address. It's spontaneous speaking, communicating off the cuff, in the moment. It's navigating those completely unplanned situations, like having to give sudden feedback to a coworker or getting hit with a surprise question at a dinner party. To handle this, Stanford gives us 3 incredibly effective, academically backed tools to manage, and notice I said manage, not totally overcome your anxiety. First, actively greet your anxiety. Like literally say to yourself, "This is me feeling nervous." It sounds wild, but it actually stops you from spiraling. Second, reframe the situation. It's not a high-stakes performance, it's just a conversation. And third, get present-oriented. You can actually do this by reciting a tongue twister right before you speak. It forces your brain firmly into the present moment so you aren't obsessing over all the ways you might mess up in the future. Section 2. The power of nonverbals. Your unspoken vibe. Okay, so our minds are right, but before a single word is ever uttered, your physical presence is already shouting. 7. Hemish Madan highlights a crazy psychological point here. It takes exactly 7 seconds for someone to form a permanent impression of your vibe. Just 7 seconds. Before you even get to construct your perfect opening sentence, your posture and your presence have already done the heavy lifting. And what's absolutely fascinating is the sheer biological impact of how you stand. Madan contrasts slouching and looking distant with power posing and being fully engaged. Get this. Studies prove that holding a power pose for just a few minutes literally alters your body chemistry. It boosts testosterone, which cranks up your confidence, and it actively lowers cortisol, which is that pesky, stress-inducing hormone. So how do we guarantee we're throwing off a solid vibe? Here are 4 rapid-fire rules from Madan. First up, the 50-70 eye contact rule. Basically, maintain eye contact 50% of the time when you're speaking and 70% of the time when you're listening. It makes you look attentive without, crossing the line into intense and creepy. Next, physically point your toes and shoulders directly at the speaker to show you're really engaged. Third, use moderate hand gestures so you look convincing, not frantic. And finally, that handshake. Go for a steady 2-second grip. Not a loose, limp fish, but please, not a bone crusher either. Moving on to Section 3, Frameworks for Spontaneous Speaking. Structure sets you free. All right, once our mindset and our nonverbals are locked in, we need the actual verbal tools. Stanford teaches this amazing concept. We have to stop trying to stockpile perfect answers in our heads. Instead, we need to dare to be dull. Don't chase absolute perfection, because that just totally freezes your brain. Just rely on structure. Enter this brilliantly simple Stanford framework. What, so what, now what? When you get hit with a surprise question, don't panic. Start by stating what the fact or situation is. Then explain the so what, like why does this actually matter? Finally, wrap up with now what, the next steps. It's like a guardrail. It keeps your audience firmly on track so you never accidentally lose your tour group. But hey, what if you need to tell a slightly longer story off the cuff? We can seamlessly switch over to Madan's CAR storytelling framework. Conflict, action, result. Literally, every great movie or book follows this. You state the conflict, describe the action you took to address it, and reveal the final result. It gives you a foolproof, engaging formula for those longer explanations, so you never end up rambling. Section 4. Building empathy and connection. Serving the audience. Having these structured frameworks is fantastic, right? But we've got to deploy them with some grace by actively tuning into the other person's emotional frequency. Madan points out something so simple but so true. The absolute sweetest sound in the world to anyone is their own name. He uses Starbucks as a prime example. Why do they ask for your name, write it on the cup, and yell it out so loudly? Because hearing your own name makes you feel seen and important. Simply remembering and repeating someone's name naturally in conversation is a total game changer for connection. And remember, it's not just what you say, it's how you say it. Check out Madan's 3 Ps of voice modulation. Pitch. You can take your pitch way up when you're super excited, or drop it really low to emphasize a serious point. Pace. You can speed up your delivery to build energy, or slow it way down so they hang on every single word. And finally, the pause. A well-timed, strategic silence. It keeps listeners absolutely hooked. This brings us to a really profound empathy rule called leveling down. Madan shares this powerful story of a mom in a toy store with a crying kid. She's pointing at all these amazing toys, but the kid is just bawling. Finally, she physically kneels down to tie the kid's shoe, and suddenly it hits her. From down there, the kid can't see the toys at all. All they see is a terrifying giant forest of adult legs. The takeaway here is huge. To truly communicate, you have to physically and mentally step into the other person's exact perspective. To help you pull this off in everyday life, here are 3 awesome, actionable conversational hacks. Number 1, echoing. Stuck at a networking event and your mind goes blank? Just repeat a keyword they just used and add a quick thought. It's that easy. Number 2, the switch. Take a totally normal observation and flip the ending for a bit of unexpected humor. And 3, the broken record technique. When you're in an argument, don't add more fuel or extra angry words. Just calmly repeat your core point. It's hands down the best way to avoid escalating the conflict. And that brings us to Section 5, Emotional Intelligence in Communication, the ultimate pillar. Here's the hard truth, guys. None of the tactical frameworks or cool voice tricks we just talked about mean a thing if we lack the emotional regulation to actually use them in our fast-paced world. Most of us default to this disastrous 2P method: panic and proceed. We instantly react to what someone says based on our own assumptions, and boom, we're in an argument. Madonna says we absolutely have to shift to the emotionally intelligent 4P method: pause, process, plan, and proceed. Instead of just reacting, you're thoughtfully responding. And this perfectly echoes Stanford's advice. When someone throws a tough question your way, don't view it as an attack. See it as a collaborative opportunity. Take a breath, pause, process what they actually need, plan your structure, and then proceed. Which leads us to this absolute gem of a quote from the Stanford materials. Fundamentally, as a communicator, your job is to be in service of your audience. I mean, that hits the nail on the head, right? It brilliantly sums up everything in this explainer. Real communication is not about showing off how smart you are. It's not about being flawless or never stumbling over a word. It's about getting out of your own way, managing your nerves, and making the listener perfectly comfortable so they can actually receive your message. So I want to leave you with this one provocative thought. The next time you're in a high-stakes conversation, or honestly, just your next chat with your partner or your boss, what are you going to do? Are you just going to panic and react? Or are you going to take a deep breath, pull out that 4P method, lean on your new structural tools, and truly connect? Give it a try today and just watch how your communication completely transforms.